if Trevor Lawrence got a haircut, I think he'd be an MVP frontrunner.
Dude, I hate it. I hate his haircut so much. He looks like Lord Farquaad, or like that one volleyball player that went viral a couple years ago that looks just like him. Just like him. He's doing himself a disservice.
I have a confession to make, and I know no one's more excited to hear it than Evan.
Well-deserved confession. Well-deserved confession.
All right, Chicago Bears fans of the Bears. Listen, you guys, I'm going to treat you like this is an episode of Blue's Clues here. Make sure you're looking at the screen. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Not just because I was wrong about the Bears. The Bears are playoff bound. I let my own insecurities about the status of the 49ers not just cloud my judgment, but impair my emotions. And I went after you guys because I was afraid. I felt threatened. Not because I think the Bears are better than the Niners. You know I'm never going to bend the knee like that. I was looking at the walls were closing in on the NFC, and it seemed the optics were that there's just not enough space for all of us. There's a little town. There's too many sheriffs running around, and I was really worried about Chicago. I mean, they just kept winning, and it's like you can make all the arguments you want, all the excuses, but at the end of the day, they were scaring me. I spent way too much time hate watching. I couldn't appreciate the football magic that was on display. The cinema, every single game was unbelievable. A showstopper. The Saturday, Jesus Christ, against the Packers. You finally beat Big Brother, and you did it to make the playoffs. I mean, it's just beautiful. And I spent the whole game praying on your downfall. For what? For nothing.
I tried to tell you.
Because here's the truth. When the Lions got, I don't want to say eliminated because that's not technically true, but when they lost to the Packers, or when the Lions lost to Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers, it feels like a Packers team. I was expecting a barrage of hate mail and, very colorful messages flooding my inbox. No, I got none of that. Because Bears fans are just happy about what's happening. They're just stoked to be here. You know what I got instead? I got a notification from ESPN. Doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. 49ers have clinched a playoff spot. I mean, I was so worried about Chicago. I forgot about the big picture. We wanted you to win. It was in our benefit that the Bears do their job and knock out these teams. I'm so sorry. I was a fool. I shouldn't have done that. I also couldn't appreciate, again, the movie magic of the Bears making the playoffs because the mortal forever enemy of the city of Chicago, Aaron Rodgers, allowed it. He beat the Lions, and that was what got the Bears in. How cool is that? I mean, that's just cinema.
It is. It is cinema. However, I do stand on the fact that if the Steelers weren't in playoff contention, Rodgers would have lost that game intentionally.
Probably, yeah, just to ensue even more terror into Chicago fans, absolutely. I'll say this, and then I'm going to just kiss this hatred goodbye. I should have been rooting for the Bears. As a 49er fan, it is in the Niners' best interest that the Bears are successful because the truth is, this Bears team is still pretty mid, and I would love to play you in the playoffs. I'm sorry for the rug pull. I should have. Yes, you guys are good, but come on. 6 wins of your 11-4 record come against backup quarterbacks or teams that lost their starter in the fourth quarter. I would love to play you in the playoffs. I should have been rooting for you quietly just as an avid Niners fan. I shouldn't have made this hatred so public because the truth is I would love to play the Bears. I just wanted to apologize for being wrong about you, but I still would love to play you. That's my apology, I guess.
I hope you play in the playoffs. And I have nothing against the Niners. I really don't. But I would die if the Bears pull off another improbable, unbelievable last-second win against the Niners. Just to see how you react.
I would die too, but I think we would die differently. You would die of laughter and like you'd reach like a euphoric level that would kill you. Mine would be more just like bleach or like hair dryer in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Right? That's how
You
I
would do
die.
it to yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, without saying that I would. Here's the thing. Every time I watch the Bears play, just like every time I watch the Jaguars, the Broncos, it just reminds us that do we even know ball? Or do we just do ball?
I'm just so glad last week we said that we respect the Jags, but we don't understand them. And I'm going to be transparent. I'm not sure I still understand the Jaguars, but I know that they're a good football team.
Duval?
Duval?
I like how Duval is a question because that's where we're at right now with the Jaguars. Coach Cohen perfectly summed up the Jaguar season in that press conference. Duval, he asked, and we're still trying to answer. I'm terrified of what I don't understand. I'll just say I'm glad I don't have to face Jacksonville until the Super Bowl because I'll never understand, and that frightens me a little bit.
I mean, they're a wagon. They are an absolute wagon right now. Trevor Lawrence is 10 touchdowns, no interceptions in his past 2 games.
If Drake May didn't throw an erotic type of deep ball that makes you feel just every type of sexual way possible, as a straight male, it's just straight males feel a certain type of sexual way when Drake May throws a deep ball. It's kind of like when you see a bunch of jets fly over your head, or like when you see Godzilla blow up something, or you see Michael Jordan dunk. There's just sort of this chilling feeling that you can feel that it's almost like I don't know what it is, but I feel like a lightning bolt just struck my genitalia. That is exactly what watching a Drake May deep ball looks like, and that's why I think he'll win the MVP, because I think every voter is just going to be rock hard in the voting booth, not because they're in love with Drake May sexually. It's like a way that his deep balls make them feel.
It's like a prime Russell Wilson deep ball.
Oh,
like just right in the basket.
Yeah, and the only reason I couldn't appreciate that is because all he would
In your
do
division.
is he would do it to us, and so it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like respecting the shooter, I guess. But
I mean,
I don't know, man. It's hard for me to say Drake May is not the MVP just because of how good he's been, and he's doing this without hitting 300 yards. Like last night was the first time he went over 300 yards this year.
I think he threw for 380. Oh my God.
I know.
I think if you were to take out Trevor Lawrence's game against the Cardinals, where he threw 3 picks, he would be in the MVP running.
I'll do you one better. If Trevor Lawrence got a haircut, I think he'd be an MVP frontrunner.
Dude, listen. We all said that.
Don't tell me you.
No. I hate it. I hate his haircut so much. He looks like Lord Farquaad, or like that one volleyball player that went viral a couple years ago that looks just like him. Like him. He's doing himself a disservice by having such long hair.
I just think like no one will ever take him seriously with that haircut. Like, I try to think about other players with really long hair like that, and for the most part, it just adds to their credibility. Like, I look at Steven Adams in the NBA.
Yep.
I mean, the dude looks like Aquaman, and he plays like a god. I mean, it just works, right? He eats ground beef with his fingers. His hand is the size of a basketball, and he has long hair. He's from New Zealand. It just makes sense. The brand's on fire.
What about Alex Anzalone?
I was going to say, I think the crazier and the reckless vibes of that long hair plays extremely well for like a linebacker or like a tight end, like Hawkinson, Kittle.
Yeah. Yep.
Like that just screams reckless, somewhat drunk uncle, but like the athletic drunk uncle, you know?
Right. What Kittle?
Kittle. And Kittle also went a step further by shaving the sides and sort of like masking. He's got like this crazy hairline that people forget about because there's so much going on. There's so much music up here. He's got a Joker tattoo. There's just a lot happening. Everything about that look is perfectly on brand. If Trevor Lawrence were to get a haircut and his stats remain the exact same, I wonder if that would skew him forward in MVP voting. I seriously, I have no stats to change. Like, it's not like, oh, go back, remove this pick, remove that pick. If he just had shorter hair, I wonder if he would look more favorable. I wonder if voters would be like, that's what a quarterback looks like. Finally. It's like,
that's
okay,
it's a clean-cut guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is crazy because it's such a choice. It's not like it's like, oh, it's not a race-based choice and go down that crazy racist rabbit hole. It's like, just if you cut your hair, did the voters see anything different?
Probably. You know what? This is actually good post material. If we just like Photoshop him with like a nice clean-cut hairline.
Just put him in a jersey. I wonder if editing his hair out of a video of him throwing a football, does it add to his MVP resume? Shorter hair Trevor Lawrence.
We'll put out a poll. Put out a poll and see.
Put out a poll. But in the meantime, I am terrified of the Jaguars, and thank God I don't get to play them unless I'm in the Super Bowl. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, for the Broncos, who were supposedly our number one team in the league last week, for the Jags to come in, who were what, number 9 for us, I believe, number 7, somewhere around there, to shit all over them, and their great defense is something. Dude.
Are we prepared to move Jacksonville into top 5? I feel like that's probably where this is going.
I don't think we have an option. I don't think we have an option.
Yeah, I would agree. But then do we move Broncos out of the top 5? Was this loss just so revealing that it's like, you guys can't win a Super Bowl? Or is that the AFC Championship as we know it? Broncos versus Jaguars?
It may be. It depends how the bracket ends up, obviously. But you know, you got the Bills and the Pats there. We're also good teams. So either of them can make the AFC Championship.
Going back to the whole hair theory, if Josh Allen had that hair, it would work. And if Bo Nix had that hair, I think it would also work. I'm starting to think Trevor Lawrence has had that hair for too long, that it really doesn't look good, and everything else about him looks great, and that's why he's getting paid so much money, is because he really is like probably should be a top 10 quarterback, top 5 quarterback every year, finally playing to his full potential. It's just the hair. I wonder if Bo Nix, who's reckless out there, throwing hospital balls left and right, you can't tackle him, you can't sack him, he's a maniac. I wonder if he had long hair, it would work. I also wonder if Josh Allen had long hair, long brown hair coming out like a pirate. I wonder if that would only amplify his brand.
I don't know. Maybe these guys need hair transplants.
Okay, it might be a stretch at this point. But bottom line is, Jacksonville, you've always had our respect. We've just never been able to grasp you for who you are. We have no identity of you. But I don't think you care about that. To be honest, I think that continues to work in your favor. Nobody knows what you are, who you are, and just keep doing you, I guess.
Yep. All 6 of you must be so excited right now.
All 6 fans, of course. It adds 1 more each week. It was 5 last week. Now it's 6. Duval. So hopefully maybe next week 7 if all things go correctly.
Yep.
Something we got to talk about. I am so disappointed in the Lions-Steelers game because I think we were robbed of potentially one of the greatest plays ever to end the game. I also think if you remove that, if that play never happens because you just don't blow the whistle on that Amon-Ra touchdown, I think that's also one of the greatest plays, comebacks this year. And then if you remove that even more, I think you could make a point that the Steelers' defense shouldn't have been in that position because perhaps it wasn't a penalty on Jameson Williams. Perhaps it was good coverage. My point is there was a lot of laundry, and that frightens me because I wonder if there's so much dress rehearsals with refereeing Chiefs games that you feel like you have to throw it every time. You don't have to do that, you guys. You just let them play.
So do you think that these guys are perhaps throwing these flags to get on national television?
Oh, you mean to get more screen time in front of millions of Americans every single Sunday? Otherwise, they wouldn't get that type of recognition at all. Perhaps because they're not as athletic as they thought they were in high school, but they still absolutely crave the national spotlight via the only way they can get there is being a referee? No. Why would I assume that?
Specifically in Rams games?
Oh, you mean you're telling me a Rams player who probably could win Offensive Player of the Year if he was healthy the whole year said something that the refs really are just out there for attention and we agree with him?
Oh, on that one thing.
On that thing. Yeah.
the one thing, just that one
Puka
thing.
Nacua said a lot of things, and he did a lot of things over the last week. And I can't say that I agree with him on anything besides the one statement he said about the refs. I agree with him about perhaps officials just want to be seen and heard, and that's why they're throwing laundry around. Everything else Puka Nacua said, I'm going to absolutely not associate myself with that at all.
Smart idea. Yeah.
Dude, it just felt like I'm really concerned that they just feel like they have to get involved because, like, you don't. You could just kind of not call anything. Those last two plays, is it really an OPI if he just runs like a pick play? Like if that's Kansas City, if that's Kansas City, if that's Travis Kelce running a pick play for Xavier Worthy, they're not throwing it, right?
That last play, he shoved him pretty hard.
The last play, yes. I'm talking about the second and goal where Amon-Ra scored.
Okay.
With like 12 seconds left.
I think maybe this year they probably...
I think you were about to say it depends who's playing.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So my original question, if Travis Kelce runs a pick so Xavier Worthy can sneak out...
2024, yes. 2025, no.
Okay. So that was exactly my point. It just depends on who's playing.
Yeah.
And by the way, while we just sneak the Chiefs propaganda in here, dude, it got ugly fast. I'm not saying this is an original take, but good Lord, the Chiefs are nothing without Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, that guy's pretty good, huh? He's
good.
He's pretty good.
But also, like, if you actually watch that game, they're not getting flags. They're not getting any. Taylor Swift is nowhere to be seen in Nashville. Were they not? Weren't they in Nashville, where she's from?
Yep.
So they're in Nashville, Tennessee, where Taylor Swift is from. I don't think she was there at all. Nobody cares. It's Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs, or nothing at all.
Yeah, it's the Chiefs are in shambles right now because not only are they out of the playoffs, not only does Patrick Mahomes have a torn ACL, and he's expected might be back for week 1. What? That's crazy.
That's insane.
The state of Kansas just stole the Chiefs like literally 10 minutes ago from the state of Missouri.
Well, how could they do that? Is the Kansas City robbery, the super fan involved? Was it the burglar, the guy that's robbing banks?
He's still on the run. He's actually physically dragging the stadium from the state line of Missouri to Kansas.
That's a big upgrade from, one-man robbery. I mean, partnering up with the state of Kansas. I mean, that's a big weekend.
It's the wild Midwest.
Why did the Chiefs just lose their location in Missouri and now they're in Kansas? I don't understand.
They wanted to build a new stadium. So the Chiefs want a dome. And they voted on this in Missouri last year. And Missouri said no, because it takes a lot of taxpayer dollars to build these stadiums. Kansas swoops in. The governor of Kansas, think her name's like Laura Kelly. She's going to fund 70% of the stadium from bonds. Do I know what that means? No. But I know it puts less of a burden on taxpayers.
Okay.
So they're holding the press conference.
Christian Bale meme. Insert the Christian Bale meme right there. Big Short. Huh? They're going to use bonds. And now Big Short 2 starts right now.
For NFL.
Continue.
Yeah, NFL. So she's going to fund that through bonds. And the Chiefs said, we don't have to pay that much money, and also taxpayers don't have to pay that much money. We're already on the state line anyway. We're just going to move to the states, to a different state. So now they're not the Kansas City Chiefs. They're the Kansas Chiefs.
Kansas City is not in Kansas, and that might be a huge surprise to a lot of our viewers. So
It's the American education system.
Dude, for the first 10 seconds of the video, if people just saw you say the Kansas City Chiefs are moving to Kansas, they probably thought, no shit.
That's actually a great,
they're already there.
A great talking point. Yeah, like I'm going to say it because I'm going to make a video right after this about this. I'm going to say, for those of you who don't know, Kansas City is not in Kansas.
Dude, you're going to get like 15,000 shares from that first 10 seconds alone because they're going to be like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the breaking news of it to most of the viewers is that they have to, like everyone, I'm pretty sure everyone in Missouri and Kansas know this by now. It probably took them a few years to get that, but you go to Oklahoma, you go to Iowa, like that's breaking news, by the way. Want to leave a little time for our college football playoff reactions, but I guess, there's nothing more to react to as far as the playoffs go because, as I said, what's done is done. Like, the Lions losing to Pittsburgh, that kind of wraps things up in the NFC. It's a two-horse race between the Packers and the Lions, and the only thing that really, I guess, that throws both of those teams back into the mix, and I'm sure Chicago Bears fans probably both hate and love that at the same time. All will be revealed tonight. We can't officially give our power rankings until after the Niners play, of course, because all roads lead back to Rome, in this case, Levi Stadium.
Yep.
Every single one. They're gold and yellow brick roads, and red, of course. So I can't even begin to make my graph until I know where the Niners are in the power rankings. That's how I work. I make my power rankings. I note the Niners first. I find them in the numbers, so I give them a ranking, and then I actually add 2 numbers to their score. So if their final score is a 10, I started at 12. They should have been at 12, but I just gave them 2, and then I reverse engineer the power rankings. Yep. This is a really good behind-the-scenes little insight here if you didn't know that. That's how we do it. And by the way, Evan just sits through all that and just agrees with it.
I'm forced to agree with it. anytime I push back on it, you're like, no. Did you watch the second play in the third quarter when he did this? I'm like, what? It's not even worth the hassle, so I just give it to you. And you know what? The Niners, the past 5 or 6 weeks, you've been good about where the Niners are. You've been honest with yourself, and I agree with you on them. Week 1 through 8.
Well, they threw a few curveballs at us week 1 through 8. Like they started 3-0, and then they beat the Rams with Mac Jones, but then you lose to Jacksonville. We weren't sure what Jacksonville was, but it seems like each and every week that transpires, that Jacksonville loss ages like fine wine. That Houston, Texas loss also has aged pretty well. Not to make this about me. I'm just saying all the Niners losses so far, the only bad loss we've really had was Tampa Bay. And by the way, just a quick side note, we went after the wrong team. And I mean we as in me. I should have gone after the Bucs. That's a team that hasn't done anything since their hot start. Remember when everyone's saying Baker Mayfield MVP? Do you remember those 6 weeks?
He was playing well.
He was playing well, wasn't he?
He was.
They have won 1 game since October.
It's bad.
1. Dude, so that's a team that has fallen off the map. So I'm sorry again, Bears fans. This is an extended apology. I was absolutely everything I said about you guys, I should have just said it in Tampa Bay. I don't know why I felt compelled. Well, I know why, the Niners, but that's neither here nor there.
Right. Which, against my better judgment, I'm going to actually go back to the Niners, which will be a nice segue into our next topic, though.
Yeah.
You're telling me that the Niners have really good quality losses.
We do.
Which ended up panning out towards the end of the season, which you will make the playoffs because, not because your losses are more quality than other teams, but you're a good team.
All of our losses now look great. It didn't look so good a while ago. They look really good now, and it makes sense too. I mean, that's why we're going for the 1 seed, because we've just kind of survived, and all of our losses just, dude. I mean, any one of those AFC teams we lost to could very well be in the Super Bowl. So I'm okay with that. Rematch. Let's do it.
Yeah. So is this the end of the G5? In playoff?
Probably, yeah. Unless if they never leave a spot available for them to take, if the reservation no longer exists, they're not gonna give them a spot. Like, the only way the G5 will continue to make it is if the committee allows it. I don't think they will. I think they blew it.
I think 2 teams will never, ever, ever be allowed again. But I do think they're going to keep 1 just so they don't get sued. Because if they don't put the G5 in, then they get antitrust litigation saying, oh, they're a monopoly, they're cutting them out. Like, there's no way to us make more money. That's
the business reason, and that's probably why. I'm going to try and put a spin on that, but I can't. Like, that's probably why. I have to say, it was a shame. It was a shame to begin with because we all knew, as fans of underdogs, you're a fan of underdogs, I love underdogs. I think underdog stories are the best stories. And that's why I think Joel Klatt's take on March Madness being a joke,
horrible,
just like a cottage cheese cake mixed with diarrhea toppings, awful in the sun, awful cold. And no matter when you eat it, why you eat it, how long it marinates for, it will always be shit.
Yep.
I think March Madness is a great tournament. I think NCAA is an awesome postseason because of all the upsets and all the Cinderella stories. I think the underdogs really tell the story. But he is right that you can't just put a bunch of shitty games because you're, I guess, baiting for underdogs and you're like looking for these type of Cinderella stories. Like, Cinderella stories actually come in all shapes and sizes. Did you know last year that Ohio State was a 8 seed?
Against
football playoff?
Yeah.
Against Tennessee,
yeah.
right?
They killed them.
Okay. Killed them. And they killed everybody they played until Notre Dame, which they won handfully, with 2 touchdown lead. It was always a 2-score game. And the reason I say that is because that could technically be a Cinderella story, right? You lose to Michigan, you barely make it into the playoff, and now, you're running tables. Like, that is college football's equivalent of a Cinderella story. And it doesn't seem like it because it's Ohio State. But that's different than JMU or Tulane, absolutely. Like, 100%.
That's the argument people are bringing up is like, oh, Tennessee got absolutely killed last year by Ohio State. And I'm like, the Tennessee team from last year with Iamaleava would be the number 1 ranked G5 team to ever come out of the G5. Like, the bottom of the Power 4 is so much closer to the top 5 of the G5. And I want to see, Tulane or North Texas or like these super obscure Minnesota, or Minnesota's in the Big Ten, but
it certainly feels like it, right?
Right, exactly. But like, make the playoff and absolutely kill someone or win, but they don't have enough money to do so, and also any talent that comes out of these places, they just transfer it to the Power 4.
Agreed. And to that point, I think the reason I want to keep G5s is because I think the second you get rid of the G5s, you're looking at the acceleration of the death of college football, and it really just sort of evolves into that business you and I are so afraid of it becoming. I'll give you a great example of why I think we're even closer to that point. Did you see Arizona State's coach interview begging for someone to stroke a check?
For that $20 million.
Right there. Just a quick $20 million check, and then we'll have a chance. Did you ever think that was a quote that was going to be said about college football?
No, and his selling point is like, I'll make you the most famous person in Phoenix.
In Phoenix, yeah.
Please.
You'll be
Please
the
just
belle
do
of the
this.
ball. You'll be the hero of the country club. We can get a hole named after you at TPC Scottsdale.
Yeah. This is why Saban retired. Yeah. Saban retired because he didn't want to be involved with this, but also I don't think he was doing this for so long illegally. And now that it was legal, he didn't want to deal with it.
Yeah, before we absolutely glaze the guy, because I think it's quite clear that as soon as you bring NIL into this, the SEC hasn't quite been the same. It just means more. I think it just means not as much under the rug money, right?
Yeah. It means something, but not more.
Not more. It just means we're all kind of, going after the same billionaires and millionaire investors. It just, you know what it means? It just means more LinkedIn connections right now, more requests for donations, because that's what it was. That's all that guy did. I mean, Jesus, yeah. He sat out there, said, "Can somebody stroke me $20 million?" He might as well sit out there with a guitar case on the steps of a church and start playing for an NIL fund. I mean, why would anyone give him any money if it's just, I'm begging for money, then we'll be a good program? That's not what a good coach does.
Mind you, that press conference was because he just signed a $7.5 million a year contract himself.
Yeah.
To coach a fucking football team.
What if, here's an idea, on your way of getting $20 million, what if you just gave away $3 million of your $7.5 million contract to get a head start for you said $20 million, and then you go? Yep. I don't even believe that, to be honest with you. I don't think $20 million is the magic number in Tempe. Not even close. I think it's more like $50 million, because you need to purchase like NFL players' contracts to come play for the Sun Devils. $20 million is not going to change your season, because it's still you leading the squad, and I don't trust you at all if you're begging for money. No way. Yeah,
he could have gone to Michigan and gotten a bag, but he stayed at Arizona State to beg for money.
Right, yeah. He could have gone and gotten a bag, but instead he stayed for only $7.5 million.
Only.
How is he
going to survive? How is he going to survive?
I don't know.
The economy.
He might have to downsize to a 4-bedroom, and I don't think he can't have dual citizenship at both country clubs. He's going to have to move one of his memberships to a temporary pause for now. You'll have to freeze that account.
Yeah, like a 4,000 square foot house instead of like a 6.
Yeah, poor thing. What's he going to do about the home theater?
How's he going to?
He might actually have to have that be rented out.
Yeah, he's going to have to stream in 1080p instead of 4K now.
Mm-hmm. And he definitely won't be able to have all of the streaming platforms, but he can use Wonderfan, because Wonderfan is free. Of course, this show is sponsored by the Wonderfan app, the only sports fan rewards app that works for every sport, every season, every team. No matter who wins, you always win on Wonderfan. Good little segue here. It's a thought experiment, and then we're going to wrap up with an NBA conversation. Thought experiment for you, Evan, because you're so cerebral. Obviously, this is the correct take. College football should implement salary caps, obviously. I mean, like,
to make it more competitive.
Sure. I think you can't just reverse course college athletes getting paid, because I think at the end of the day, there are way more pros and cons of paying these kids, because I think a lot of them really need it, and them waiting for an opportunity to play in the NFL. Of course, that call often never comes. There's only 32 teams. These kids finally have an opportunity to pay their parents back, to support their families, support their friends. I think that's beautiful in the grand calculus of everything. And all these college football purists like Tim Tebow that grew up rich, or however, that are like, no, it should be about the love of the game. It's easy for you to say because you get to go home to a nice house. A lot of kids don't. I'm absolutely in love with NIL for that reason. I think salary caps are huge for teams, not for players, for teams. You can't be given more money than, which is unreasonable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have money, cool, but like, you shouldn't be able to have like $1 billion. Like, if Elon Musk donated $1 billion to UMass and change, like, that seems a little unfair. It should be like, I mean, it'd be hilarious, because I know he would obviously it would be hilarious to watch that happen. Hilarious and sad, but it's possible. If he's bored and he feels compelled to do so for political reasons or whatever, he could, and they could be really good. And that's
right. Well,
the unfortunate part.
Yeah, like if you think about the Orange Bowl next week,
yeah,
it's on paper it's Texas Tech versus Oregon, but really what it is oil conglomerates versus a really big apparel brand.
It's just, you know what it is? It's sweatshops versus oil fields. That's what it is. It's the business of Nike versus the business of oil. And boy, we got ourselves a heavyweight battle here. I mean, think about all the unnecessary deaths and awful tragedies that have happened in the world of, shoemaking and both sides. Yeah. So this is There Will Be Blood, the football game. So many people have died without even knowing where their oil money or their shoe money were going. Think about when that whole shoe race started and the oil race started, 1800s, all led so that Oregon could play Texas Tech in a playoff game.
To pay for your linebacker. You sacrificed your life.
There is something to be said, though, that is probably the best player in football. I wanted to make this video last week, but I couldn't.
No, for sure.
People like Reese Davis was out here saying that he regrets his vote for Diego Pavia. And what's really bothered me about him saying that was that he voted for Diego Pavia. There are some things just keep to yourself. He wanted to make this big point, like, I'm glad he didn't win because he didn't deserve it because it's his character. Bro, why did you vote for him?
He doesn't know ball. Reese doesn't know ball.
We love college football. We love ESPN. But for how many screens they have at any given point, and you looked at that player as the best player in college football, mind you, Rodriguez at Texas Tech, the team he joins next year instantly becomes a top 5 defense in the NFL and perhaps a Super Bowl contender, depending on which team. That is the best player in college football. He definitely should have been in the running. But if you're absolutely hell-bent on making this an offensive award, it has to go to Mendoza. He should have won 1,000 votes to nothing. He leads the FBS in touchdowns. To think where Indiana was and where they are, a lot of it is because of him. And why Diego Pavio got any votes at all is boggling. But these analysts that are coming out saying, I regret my vote, dude, keep it to yourself. Because now it just tells me I don't even know if you know ball. I just don't know.
Yeah,
I just don't know.
Yes. But to go back to the original point.
Yep.
Someone in 1849 sacrificed their life for Jacob Rodriguez. Ultimately.
Okay. Last thought experiment for you. I have a conversation with my buddies about this. This goes back to the NFL. You know how that in soccer you get relegated in really bad seasons, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, the NFL should buy the XFL and buy the UFL or all these other leagues. The NFL should own all of them, and they should all be one giant umbrella. And I think they should play in the same seasons they're playing. I think the UFL, XFL, whenever they play the offseason in the NFL, that should still happen. Because if your team is so bad for so long, you should be relegated to the XFL. I'm looking right at you.
You're talking about like the Raiders, right? You know.
Oh, I'm talking about the Raiders,
Titans,
Giants, the
Browns. Couldn't be anybody else, right? Not possible.
And the Jets.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, they could take like a mixture of MLB and the Premier League or soccer, whatever it is, and they have a farm league, but also like a relegation type of deal too.
No,
so like
you're coping now. You're coping. I want a full blown demotion. If you're bad,
I agree. However, they should be affiliates, or no, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work.
No, because all that is as you said, the second it's a farm league, it's not happening. I'm talking about a switcheroo. You play so good in the UFL or the XFL, and you do it in a way that, because I know it's obviously in different seasons, so it kind of happens in like this, it's like every other season. You can't just like finish your season in June. All of a sudden, in 2 months, you have to actually play in the AFC East. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying the team, perhaps the franchise remains, but everybody on that team, how about this? Everybody on that team, they have to go down.
I think you do the organization itself, because then that puts way more pressure on the owners, like the Jets owner, Woody Johnson, who's a great person. He's a great person. He's a terrible owner. Anyway, if you do that, then he loses a ton of money, more pressure to sell the team, make them even better, right? The players, on the other hand, they can get traded or have the free agency or whatever it may be. So there's still skin in the game for them. But it just puts more pressure on the owners to make a better environment for their organization.
We're going to open it up to our followers here with a poll. Should the NFL buy these other football leagues, these offseason leagues, UFL, XFL, for the sole purpose that relegation is very much in play for the shitty teams? And it's not grandfathered in. It's not like the Jets are the first to go. It's a new calendar starts the second it's bought, the second that these plans are in motion. Just like in Premier League, is X amount of years, how long are you bad? How long are you miserable for before you are on deck? You are due to be bounced. It adds that much pressure.
That would be so much fun. Like that the winner of that league gets bumped up, and then the loser, the worst loser of the other league gets bumped down.
By the way, because if you look at the Premier League, you look at soccer in Europe, a lot of these teams have sucked for a while, but half of them celebrating how mid they are is the fact that they don't get relegated, right? They survive relegation. They get to stick around, right? That's like a perfect celebration for like the Miami Dolphins or like the Minnesota Vikings. Like they're constantly missing out, but they're never quite getting booted. Like, because the Jets, if we would have started this, the Jets have been gone. The Browns have been gone. Raiders are looking at being gone soon. Giants, past 15 years, except for 2 Super Bowls, they would have been gone. But a lot of teams, I think Vikings fans would be a lot happier. Same with Cardinals fans. Same with, for a while, Broncos fans. They would be very happy with just not getting smoked out of the NFL.
Let me paint a picture for you. Let's say Week 17 goes by. The Giants and the Raiders lose both next week. They head into Week 18. Those two have to play each other to find out who gets relegated and who gets to stay.
Dude, that would be like
cinema.
You would see a new level of fight in that
That's
game.
The toilet bowl.
So much stakes to these meaningless games. The Christmas Day slate right now sucks. I know when it was designed, it was fully intended to be just a blockbuster day. And how could you, who would have thought Patrick Mahomes would be out? Who would have thought that Jaden Daniels and the Cowboys would both be out? I guess you could just look back in the last 15 years. That's your evidence there. But, the Cowboys were looking like they were going to be something with Pickens and new coach. And Jaden Daniels and the Commanders certainly looked like they were going to be at least competent.
Yeah. All right.
Could you imagine if one of these teams gets relegated on Christmas?
That would be it's the toilet bowl. It would be it's the opposite of the Super Bowl.
It's going to be so awful for one team that it becomes impossible to miss, because we've never seen, it's a death sentence for a few years. We've never had anything like that in America.
I know.
I think it's worth a poll. It's worth a poll.
Yeah, it's worth a poll. One last thing to leave everybody with. Yeah. The Cowboys, I believe, are the first team in NFL history to have a 4,000-yard passer, a 1,000-yard rusher, and 2 separate 1,000-yard receivers to miss the playoffs.
It's a shame.
That is a testament to how bad that defense is.
You just cannot imagine how good they would be if they had just at the very least a competent defense. The Cowboys, I'd like to say the Cowboys were Super Bowl contenders for a second. After Thanksgiving, I was looking at them like, uh-oh. Can you do this again? Beating Patrick Mahomes on Thanksgiving. Of course, we were dead wrong about the Chiefs, which made us even more dead wrong about the Cowboys. I don't know, dude. I think they can be scary, and if you draft well and, just move some money around, and the offense is amazing. Just give somebody out there on defense a chance. You're doing a disservice to all the really talented defenders when there's all these scrubs next to them. You know what I mean?
I got you.
I got one thing to say, and I want to touch on our NBA fans. This is a whole new era of NBA, and it's something that I think I was able to get you to jump in on this morning. Talk about ethical hoops. Just real quick, this is going to be something we're talking about for a whole year to come. This show is wrapping up today. This is the final few minutes of the show, but this is a new era of NBA basketball because it's very easy for us to hate on OKC and hate on these teams for whatever reason you do. I want to make it known. I don't hate OKC. I think all those guys are awesome dudes. SGA is like a really nice superstar. They're pretty humble for the most part. I think Chet's kind of a piece of work, but everybody else, Jalen Williams, he commented on our stuff. I mean, he is very much, like him or hate him, he is associated with the program, you know? But I think what's on the line here is ethical basketball. And we saw it the other night. Anthony Edwards drilled a 3 to beat the Thunder. And we saw it again last night. Russell Westbrook drilled a 3 to beat Alperen Şengün, the foul baiter. Ethical hoops. That's what Wonderfan. That's Wonderfan. We are a fan of ethical basketball, right? We don't want to drive away OKC fans. We don't want to drive away Rockets fans. No. That's not our point. We're not hating the teams. We just don't like this foul baiting crap. We're not for it.
Unless we're the Warriors, of course.
Unless Jimmy Butler's off the line, then it's just a work of art, right? If Jimmy Butler is off the line, but of course it would never happen to Steph because they literally, the refs, the Suns Warriors game, the Suns were trying to intentionally foul Steph. Evan, I know you don't watch a whole lot of NBA. An intentional foul stops the clock,
right?
And when you give yourself up in an intentional foul, the refs see it and they will assist you because it's part of the game. It's like a foul's a foul. Steph has such a bad whistle, he couldn't even get an intentional foul. The Suns were assaulting him. They were grabbing him. They were about to kill him because they couldn't get the refs' attention because the refs would not dare let Steph Curry go to the free throw line. That's how bad it's getting right now.
Ugh. Coming from a Warriors fan, though.
Coming from somebody with functioning eyeballs. My whole point about this ethical hoop segment is Steph Curry is among the ethical hoopers. Anthony Edwards, he's up there. Wemby's up there. There's a bunch of guys that we can be fans of even though we may not support their teams because they are playing a game of basketball that is very easy to get behind. And it does not involve going to the free throw line. It's just good, old-fashioned, clean, pure, incredibly awesome basketball. That's ethical hoops. Thanks to a few select heroes. The few, the proud, the Marines
the ethical
of the
hooper.
NBA.
Yep.
And that's all we're going to say about that before we drive away any more fans of teams. All right, that's it for today. Make sure to download Wonderfan. You can't lose on Wonderfan. Everyone else, go Hoosiers, go Niners, go Jets, right?
Yeah.